Hello everyone, and welcome to the judges briefing for the OACETT National Engineering Month College Challenge. My name is Erica and I really appreciate you joining us to learn all about the OACETT College Challenge. I'm presenting this information to you on behalf of National Engineering Month, which is run by a coalition of organizations whose logos you see here at the bottom, as well as the Ontario Society of Professional Engineers. So in 2014, back up here. There's our agenda. We're going to talk a little bit about National Engineering Month, and we're going to go through the goals of the College Challenge that is run by the Ontario Association of Certified Engineering Technicians and Technologists. We're going to discuss your role as judges, as well as the competition criteria, expectations around what you will need to do. It's not complicated, really. We just want to make sure that we're all on the same page as far as what you're committing to and agreeing to be a judge. We'll go through a list of the events, and then we'll have some time for questions, as I mentioned at the end. So the National Engineering Month, I'm skipping ahead here we go. So National Engineering Month is an outreach campaign that happens every March, and last year, 2015, we had 270, almost 280 outreach events across Ontario run by different members of volunteers from different organizations such as the Ontario Association of Certified Engineering Technicians Technologists, as well as PEO, Professional Engineers Ontario, Engineers Without Borders, or EWB, and other organizations. So in 2014, it was about 187, so that was quite a large jump for us in the number of events that we did last year, which was in turn a jump from the previous year and where it had been for a few years before that at about 142. So this year we do hope to break 300. It looks like we're probably going to make it for NEM 2016. And that we'll be reaching an in-person audience of around 30,000 people. So here's the demographic breakdown of who we expect to target. Again, these are 2015 numbers. We don't have 2016s yet, but we will in a few months when we look back at what's happened during March of this year. And this is, we expect to see similar or slightly better numbers for this year. So it's quite a major campaign, and we're very proud of the way that we've built it, largely by engaging with grassroots volunteers to do hands-on activities with young people, with the general public, really changing hearts and minds one conversation at a time is the way we like to think of our strategy. So in 2014, we sat with some members, some people from OACETT, the Ontario Association of Certified Engineering Technicians and Technologists, and came up with an idea to better engage college students as leaders of these outreach events, because we had lots of involvement from university students, and we realized that we had a real missed opportunity in not having any colleges get involved. So we put out a prize as a little bit of an incentive to get college students interested, and said they could have $2,500 to the winning team, up to 5 students, and free OACETT student memberships if they won the challenge. So the only criteria, they would be required to organize and run a National Engineering Month event in their community, either on campus or off campus, and we left it pretty much open. Other than that, we said you've got to link up with your OACETT chapter so that you're coordinating with them, collaborating with them, and we didn't really know what was going to happen 2 years ago. But our goal was to get more involvement from the students. These were the rules that we gave them. We said pretty much anything else is up for grabs. You can have up to $700 to run your event. And the results, when we look 2 years in, we've run the challenge every year since, so 2014, 15, and 16. I think by any stretch of the imagination, you'd have to call this a absolute success. You can see that back in 2012, 2013, we had about 10 chapters involved that were running one event each, so we were at sort of 10 chapters, OACETT chapters participating in National Engineering Month. And when we added in the College Challenge, we more than doubled our engagement in 1 year, looking from 2013 to 2014. This yellow bar represents the number of OACETT College Challenge events. And then when we got to 2015, that continued to raise, and we're seeing this year that OACETT chapters are now running more events and the OACETT College Challenge teams are continuing to run quite a few events as well. So we've got a total of 48 OACETT run events, which is just unheard of. I don't think back a few years ago we would have ever thought that it was possible. But it's excellent to see the OACETT chapters getting involved and really speaking out in their communities and participating in the campaign to give young people and the general public an idea of what engineering and engineering technology are all about. So another thing we wanted to do was to increase OACETT's network within the colleges, and we succeeded in doing that as well, because when the students applied, the college students applied on behalf of several organizations of which they are members inside their colleges. So for example, Engineering Society at Conestoga, IEEE, very well-known discipline society, the Fire Protection Student Association, Civil Society, Applied Technology, Engineering Association, again, that's from Sheridan, and the Biomedical Engineering Student Association. So tons of engagement from many different groups within the college system. So we succeeded on that goal as well. Another goal that we had was to increase OACETT's engagement within the colleges. And there are a couple of ways that we've managed to do that. OACETT volunteers have a member, each chapter, I believe, has a member called a college liaison in the communities where there is a college, an Ontario Technology College present. They nominate someone, a volunteer, to be their college liaison, who acts as sort of the go-between between the OACETT chapter and the college. And they got to mentor the students. They got to get to know the students. Again, an excellent opportunity both ways for the OACETT chapter to talk to some of the students that will be graduating and entering the system and hopefully getting involved with their chapters a few years later. And also a really great opportunity for the students to get to know what it's like to work in their field, perhaps to gain some mentoring or some networking opportunities from the OACETT chapter themselves. Which brings us to the judge role, which is another way that the OACETT chapters were able to support the students in putting on their events. We have opened it up both to OACETT members and PEO members to function as judges at these events. So this has been a really great success. I'm going to now speak a little bit more specifically of the role of the judge. Really what we're looking for, because there is prize money on the line, we need to make sure that the students are sort of complying with the goals of the challenge and making sure that they're doing things properly, obviously. There is quite a lot involved in running an outreach event, and especially if they haven't done it before, which the majority of the college student challenge participants have not. This is really sort of their first time. They're experimenting, they're trying things out, they're doing their best, and the role of the judge is just to appraise and evaluate what they're doing, judging what they're doing basically against their plan and against the goals of National Engineering Month. So this is not a technical judging role. Sometimes there is a technical component to the events that the students put on, and we're going to show you a list of all of the great events that the students have got planned for this year. But really, I mean, if you want to give feedback, if you have knowledge in the area that they're working on, that is fantastic. But really, the two main points that we're looking for from you as the National Engineering Month organizers is just what's on the judge's report. So there is just one obligation for you, besides showing up, I guess, to the event that the students are putting on. That is to fill out and return a judge's report. So we will have a copy of that available for you. We will fill in the beginning part, which is the plan, and then you can assess how well the students did against that. So here is what the criteria for competition look like. The students always ask us, how are we being judged? This is sort of like what's going to be on the test, that question they always ask when they're looking to pass their exam or get ready for it. There are going to be 3 different criteria that we will take into account when we're ranking the students and selecting the top ranked who will be the winners of the college challenge. One is the judge's report. So the judge's report is definitely important. The judges are our eyes and ears on the ground, and we need to make sure that we get accurate feedback from them and as much input as possible. Really, most of the time, the judges are very, they give us quite short feedback. So if there's anything that we would ask for, it would be more feedback in general from the judges. More information is always better than less. Then there is the stuff that the organizers submit themselves, including an event scorecard, including any sort of evidence of what they've done that they post on social media, for example, and then there's sort of post-event engagement, anything that they do after the fact to capture or sort of leverage the exposure that they've gained through their event. Those are the three things we look at when we determine basically what ranking they'll receive within the college challenge. So here's the judges report. This is what it looks like. It's very, very simple. First part is about messaging. So what was the intended message that the students, that the student organizers wanted their participants to take away from the event? So we will fill that out for you. We will let you know what their event messaging goals were, and then you will be on the ground looking around for any signs of those messages, whether it's through the signs, the things they say, maybe the presenters at their event, all that sort of thing. And then you'll give them a score 0 to 5, 0 being no attempted delivery, no evidence that you could find, 5 being perfect delivery, meaning they did a really great job of putting across the message and underscoring it with examples, etc. And again, comments are always good. Those are very helpful. So part 1 is messaging. And these are the messages that you're going to be looking for. So anytime we're putting on an outreach event, any National Engineering Month event, as well as the College Challenge events, we want to make sure that we are putting across these different messages. So there's a place for you in engineering and technology. That's actually our theme this year for the entire National Engineering Month campaign. Engineering and technology shape the world around us. That's a good one as well. That's really good for people to know who are attending events. Applying creativity and imagination to turn ideas into reality, and health, safety, and happiness, basically, is this really long definition here. So these are all messages that we have taken from the Changing the Conversations campaign, which is put on by the National Academy of Engineering. And these are actually research findings on the best ways to talk about engineering in a way that creates excitement and inspiration and encouragement, I guess, for students and for the general public. We're looking to really demystify what engineering and technology are all about, break any stereotypes that people might have about how engineering is maybe it's really boring, or it's really antisocial, or it's really difficult, or only sort of nerdy people are interested. We want to show them there's a lot of diversity, a lot of different people are involved in engineering. They might just think about bridges, or they might just think about trains. I know I hear that a lot when I speak to kids about engineering. We want to show them with these purposeful, impactful messages that engineering is so much more than that. Engineering and engineering technology in this case. So the second part is theme. So actually the theme this year, as I mentioned, is there is a place for you. Last year it was make a world of difference, but this year we'll be looking for there is a place for you in your event. What does the theme mean to them and their event? So it's okay for you to chat with the student organizers, see what they have to say about this. And again, 0 to 5, a score for integration of theme, and then any comments that you have. So there is a place for you in engineering and engineering technology. That's the theme that we're looking for. So we'll make sure that that's updated on the judges' forms. Part 3 is overall engagement. Now this is kind of a tricky thing to measure, but what we're looking for here is just that sense of people paying attention, people leaning in, pupils dilating, people nodding. To what extent can you feel energy from the participants? To what extent are things working well? Are you getting total engagement? I just gave a few examples of what that looks like versus 0 engagement. And again, it's a little bit of a subjective thing, but you will know when you see the rest of the participants how successful the students were in engaging people and really getting them kind of excited and involved in the topic, not just sitting there passively sort of consuming the content, but also getting inspired and getting ignited, I guess, engaged. So again, as many comments as you're able to give us, those are the 3 parts of the judges form. Just FYI, this is something that we gave to all of the organizers. So this is what we said. So a few things you can look out for as far as what the organizers were able to try to do as far as participant engagement. Having lots of volunteers around to answer and ask questions or give people help if you're doing some kind of hands-on activity. Having lots of questions, that's always a good sign when people's hands are going up or they have lots to say. Or maybe you have a speaker and lots of people come up and talk to him or her afterwards. That's an excellent sign. Using age and audience appropriate language, so not going into tons of technical detail and making it really sort of complicated and inaccessible to people, but making it much more, I guess, unintimidating and readily understandable. We want to look for hands-on activities and support, as I said, as you can see in this picture. This is a previous National Engineering Month activity where you've got someone helping the students as they build their, looks like a windmill or wind turbine maybe. You want to engage all types of learners. So ideally you've got something they can look at, something they can listen to, something they can touch. There's really something that happens when you give people something to play with. It sort of switches on a different part of their brain or something, really causes a lot of great engagement. Or they could set up a participant discussion, and you could do this in groups. You do it with Post-it notes. You could do it on social media. You could just do it, just with people chatting away with each other. But when you start to see that buzz and you start to get that sense that people are really involved and engaged, that's what participant engagement looks like. So that is really all you're responsible for, those three things. So there's messaging, theme, and participant engagement. Those are the three things we're looking for from you. You can really give us comments or observations about just about anything else you want, but those are the three compulsory things that we need to collect so that we can rank everybody. So before the event, we will be connecting you by email. We recommend that you exchange cell phone numbers just because it is March. Weather can be a factor. Things can come up, so make sure you have a contact person in the student group. I know in previous years, sometimes the judges and the student organizers had a tough time finding each other, and before we implemented this recommendation, they would be calling me on the day of the event, and that was obviously not ideal because I'm not there. The judges are on the ground. They need to be able to meet up easily with the organizers. So that's something that we do recommend, that you exchange numbers and that you're able to get in touch with each other easily. Students will also be advising you on things like where to park. They should let you know if there is any cost involved with entry. Some of the events involve dinner. If there's a ticket involved, anything like that, they should either be able to cover your cost as a judge, or if you pay out of pocket, OACETT can reimburse you as part of the expenses for the challenge. So you'll need to connect with student organizers. We'll send out an email to make sure you have a connection with them well before the day of the event. Then on the day, you should obviously attend. You'll need to show up to see what's going on. If it is an all-day event or a multi-hour event, we know you're busy professionals. We don't expect you to stay absolutely all day. Again, this is something you can arrange with the students before the day of the event, is to find out when would be the best piece of the event to attend to get a good experience and a good representation of what the event is like. So they will be able to direct you, we're doing the activity at 1 o'clock. So even though the event runs, say noon to 5, the really important part is 1 o'clock to 2 o'clock. So you will be able to manage your schedule so that you can be there for the most important pieces. We encourage you to engage with students, ask questions, look for opportunities for them to shine. Like I said, a lot of them are organizing for the first time. They might be nervous, and they'll definitely appreciate the opportunity to show you what they've done and to shine a little bit after working so hard on their event. We're going to say that if you have feedback to give, that you keep it positive and keep it brief, because if you start to go into, for example, saying, you should have done this or you should have done that, that can be a potentially discouraging experience for the students, and we don't want them to take that away from the experience of the day and the event. The bigger goal here is that they have a good first experience in organizing an outreach event. They can always learn how to do things better, to come back and volunteer again next year or to get involved with their OACETT chapter. So if you see things that they're really not doing well, put it in the feedback form and limit the things that you verbalize to them on the day to brief and positive things. So hopefully that makes sense to you, because the students, we want them to have a good experience and to feel that you're seeing the good parts of what they're doing. Be observant, be friendly, obviously, no reason not to talk to them, and they might be nervous. Fill out the judge's report. You can do it either on the day or from home. We actually don't mind if you fill out the comments. You can print it out and fill it out as a hard copy and then scan it and give it back to us. That works. Or you can type it into the form. I believe we give it to you as a Word document, so you could type your feedback based on notes. That's fine. Whatever's easiest for you, as long as we get the feedback. That's the really important piece. So here are the 2015 events, and as you can see, we had, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We had 9 different teams. This year it's actually up to 14, which is kind of amazing, and they're sort of spread pretty well across the province, which is great to see. The winner last year was the group from Centennial, and we mentioned that just because when you look at the 2016 events, you'll see what has happened to the participation from Centennial. It's really awesome. So here we go. This is the Multidisciplinary Science for a Better Society. They put on quite a show. I actually got invited to this one, so I went to this event and found it really amazing what the students had put together. They had a very large organizing team. They put a lot of effort and invited lots of speakers, and they really did a great job. So here is what we post on the website, and this is an example from the second place team from last year, which was the Conestoga College IEEE chapter. Now they're involved again this year, so we expect to see great stuff from them. They came very close to being ranked first last year, which is awesome. We give the judges' comments. We give them the judges' comments come straight from the judge. We just copy and paste them. The best in comments, we look at what all the different organizers did, and we look at the things that they did that were the best, that were sort of standouts from everybody else. And then we looked at what other teams can learn. So these were sort of best practices, I guess, that we could say. So there was a little bit of overlap between best in and what other teams can learn, but our idea here was to create a cycle of knowledge improvement year over year, because now the students are instructed to go back to this page and look at what was done well last year so they can learn, right? So the judges' comments are always good to know. Yes, the session was fantastic. They engaged other departments, so that was great. They had an interactive booth. They held a food drive. That was awesome. So these are all the things that we wouldn't necessarily know because we can't be at every event. And these were some things that they did that were excellent. So they get some good feedback on what they were best in, that what they did better than anybody else in the whole challenge, and then what we would like to see other teams do based on their learnings in previous years. So you can look at College Challenge, I believe it's College Challenge 2015 to get all of those results. Now going forward to the 2016 College Challenge events, here they are. They are, remember I said Centennial won last year? Now we have 3 teams from Centennial based on that success story, so that's really cool to see. Conestoga is with us again. There are 2 teams from George Brown. Humber is participating for the first time. Loyalist always puts in interesting, really thought-provoking topics. Loyalist in Belleville. Niagara College is on board for the first time. 2 teams from Seneca. 2 teams from Sheridan, both of whom had a very strong showing last year, and we've got a team from St. Lawrence College on board for the first time again. So a nice mix of some experienced students and teams. Obviously, there's been some turnover within the students themselves, but the colleges have now an investment in doing some engineering and technology outreach for National Engineering Month, and they get really excited, and they do such a great job. They do some of the best events, I would say, in all of National Engineering Month. So we need to really give credit to these students for rising to the challenge and taking all those recommendations and implementing them. So I've given you an overview of what the challenge is and how it works and what your role as a judge will be. As I mentioned, we need to do the follow-up with you via email because it is a little bit customized relative to which students you're going to be in touch with and what the date of the events are and that sort of thing. And we encourage you to, as I said, meet up with your connect with your students, by email or phone ahead of time. You can meet up with them in person if you want to. It's not necessary ahead of time. Then obviously attend the event on the day. enjoy yourself, learn as much as you can, soak up the excitement of the students, and write up the judge's report and get it back to us. We will be giving you a deadline for that. We usually give you about a week after the event has occurred so that you can put together your judge's report and send it back to us. We will email all of that information to you. And then if we have any further questions, there's time for us to follow up. We pull together the ranking, and then we notify all the teams by email as well. And we post it on the website, so you can keep an eye on that. Yeah, so if you have any other questions, or most of you know me or have been in touch with me, there's my email address here, and I want to recommend that you check us out on our social media platforms. As we speak now, we're in the last week of February. We're starting to really ramp up as far as content is going, and we're really looking forward to an excellent National Engineering Month and a great month full of College Challenge events. So thank you so much for helping out, and see you out there during the events.